Okay, for lesson 10.2, part 1, we're going to be learning about parabolas with the vertex at the origin, 0, 0. So an important formula we're going to be using is the absolute value of A equals 1 over 4c. So I recommend highlighting this in your notes or underlining. And C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. I'll draw a focus here. So here's focus, I'll label it F. Distance from the focus to the vertex is C. This is also the same distance as from the vertex to the directrix. I'll sketch in a directrix here. So once again, this distance is C, and this distance is also C. Now let's look at some examples. If we have a vertex of the form y equals ax squared, the vertex is at the origin, and it faces upwards. Our focus is somewhere in here, and our directrix is below, equal distance from the vertex as our focus. For y equals negative ax squared, our parabola will open downwards. And our focus will be here, vertex at the origin, directrix up here. Notice that the focus is a point and the directrix is a line. Next, we notice our x and our y are reversed. So now we have x equals a y squared. A is positive. Our parabola centered at the origin will open to the right. There's our focus and our directrix. And finally, if we have x equals negative ay squared, our parabola will open to the left. There's our focus. There's the directrix. Alright, let's work through some examples. So first, we're going to graph a parabola, identify the vertex, focus, and directrix. So first thing I want to notice for this equation, y equals 1/16 x squared, that it is of the form y equals ax squared. So from this, I know that my parabola is going to open upwards. I also know that my vertex is at the origin, so I'm just right now going to start by sketching my vertex right at the origin. Notice that a equals 1 over 16. I'm going to write that just to help me. A equals 1 over 16. Now, to find my focus, I'm going to use this equation and find C. So first I'll just write the formula. Absolute value of A equals 1 over 4c. And remember we have that A equals 1 over 16. So I have 1 over 16 equals 1 over 4c. By cross multiplying, I can solve for c. So I have 4c equals 16. So c equals 4. Now remember that we said C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. It's also the distance from the vertex to the directrix. So since my parabola opens upwards, I know that my focus is going to be 4 units up from my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is my focus. I will label it F. And I know that the coordinate of my focus, it's a little hard to see, 0, 4. And my directrix will be 4 units down from my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my directrix. And the equation of this directrix will be y equals negative 4. Let's label that dir. Now, before I sketch my parabola, which once again we know is facing upwards, I need to have at least 2 points on the parabola. So let me show you an easy way to find 2 points. I'm going to take this c term, c equals 4, I'm going to multiply it by 2. So if I take 2 times c, I get 8. So that means that if I go to the focus and I go to the left and the right 8 units, I will find 2 points on my parabola. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know the graph stops, but it's somewhere around here. Same thing on the other side, somewhere over here. So again, that's 8 units on each side, and now I can sketch my parabola. Something like this. I'm going out of room. So now we have graphed our parabola. We've identified the vertex at 0, 0, the focus at 0, 4, and I'll write that again here. So I'll just call it F. Focus is at 0, 4, and the directrix is the line y equals negative 4. Let's try another one. This time I have x equals negative 1/8 y squared. So this looks to me like this form. So my parabola is going to open to the left. So again, I'm going to start by plotting my vertex at 0, 0. Now I know that my a equals negative 1/8. So I'm going to find my c using the above formula. So I'm going to write the formula one more time. Absolute value of a equals 1 over 4c. The absolute value of negative 1/8 is positive 1/8. So 1/8 equals 1 over 4c. Again, I can cross multiply. 4c equals 8, and c equals 2. Up here, I'm just going to write the form of this equation, which is x equals negative a y squared. So I know my parabola is going to open to the left, and I know my focus is 2 units to the left of my vertex. So 1, 2, there it is, and I will label this F. And I'll write it over here. F is negative 2, 0. And my directrix will be 2 units to the right of my vertex. 1, 2. And that is the line x equals 2. That's my directrix. So once again, I'm going to open to the left. I need to find 2 points. So I'm going to multiply 2 times c. So 2 times c gives me 4. So from my focus, I'm going to go 4 units away in either direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've just plotted 2 points that are on my parabola. So now, from my vertex, I'm going to sketch my parabola. It's a little lopsided, but you get the idea. So we have found the vertex, 0, 0, focus, -2, 0, and the directrix, x equals 2, and we've done a sketch. Okay, next page. The next one asks us to write an equation of a parabola with vertex at the origin and a focus at -5, 0. So when I'm starting a problem like this, the first thing I do is make a little sketch to show what I have and figure out what I need. So off to the side, I'll just draw a little sketch. And remember, this is just for your information. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I know my vertex is at the origin. I'll plot that. And I know my focus is at -5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will plot that. And I'm going to call it F, -5, 0. So since my focus is directly to the left of my vertex, I know my parabola is going to open to the left, which means my equation will be of this form. X equals -a y squared. So next thing I need to do is find my a. I don't know my a, but I do know my c. So once again, let me write our formula that we're probably going to use for every problem. Absolute value of a equals 1 over 4c. So to find c, remember c is the distance from vertex to focus, to see how many units I'm away. So from vertex to focus, I'm 5 units away, therefore c equals 5. So I'm just going to plug this into my formula. Absolute value of a equals 1 over 4 times 5. So a equals 1 over 20. So now I have my a, I can plug it right back into here, and then I'm done. So x equals -1 over 20 y squared. Number 4. This is very similar to the other. Let's try this one. Write an equation of a parabola with focus at 0, 2 and directrix y equals -2. So once again, I will start with a sketch. So my focus is at 0, 2. Okay, F 0, 2, and my directrix is at y equals -2. Okay, and my vertex is right in the middle at the origin. So from looking at this, I can tell my parabola is going to open upwards, and I'm just going to sketch it in just to help me see what I'm doing. I know it opens upwards because of where my focus and my directrix are. That means this should be of the form y equals ax squared. Since the distance from my vertex to my focus, or from my vertex to my directrix, is 2, I know that c equals 2. So now I'll plug it into my formula. A equals 1 over 4c. It's going to be a equals 1 over 4 times 2. So a equals 1 over 8. Now I can plug that right back into my equation. Y equals 1 over 8 times x squared. So next thing, we have the question that asks us to identify the focus and directrix of a given parabola. We can do that as well. I'm going to follow my same procedure. I'm going to sketch a parabola. I'm going to use my formula and find what I need. So here's my grid. My parabola is of the form y equals 1/2 x squared. So that means I know it's going to have a vertex at the origin, and I know it's going to open upwards because my A is positive. So I'm looking for a focus here, my directrix down here. I'm going to use my formula A equals 1 over 4c, and in this case my A is 1 over 12. So I will just plug that in. 1 over 12 equals 1 over 4c. 4c equals 12, and c equals 3. That means my focus is 1, 2, 3 units out from my vertex. My focus is at 0, 3, and my directrix is 1, 2, 3 units down from my vertex at at y equals -3. Let's check the question and see if we've answered what they've asked. Identify the focus and the directrix of the graph of the equation. So we're done, and I'm just going to label this dir so I know what it is. Okay, one more time. Identify the focus and directrix for x equals -1 over 20 y squared. So if we look back at our different forms of parabolas, we'll see that this one is going to open to the left. So I'll put my vertex at the origin, and I'll just sketch a parabola opening to the left to help guide what I'm doing. So my focus should be here, somewhere in here. My directrix should be somewhere over here. So why don't I start by using my formula, A equals 1 over 4c. In this case, A equals -1 over 20. I'm going to be using the absolute value of A. So I will write 1 over 20 equals 1 over 4c. 4c equals 20, and c equals 5. My focus and my directrix are each 5 units away from my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is my focus at -5, 0. And my directrix is 5 units away from the vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the equation of this directrix is x equals 5. And that will complete the notes for section 10.2, part 1.